Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate all the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So, orale ese King Neeko, the Blaxican Americano, right? I like King Neeko. You know, I respect King Neeko. I've always liked King Neeko, and I think I like him a little bit more now because he held it 10 toes down for what he believes in, and that's freedom, getting out of prison, right? There's been a lot of videos made lately about King Neeko, and I made one of them. And I was in defense of King Neeko because I thought just because a picture was put out there and people were saying that he PC'd up and that he stood on a particular yard he wasn't supposed to stay on, I was saying, hey, I know his picture speaks 1,000 words, but at this point, it's just a fucking picture. And of course, he even got in my comments and said, hey, G, that mattress was a real mattress and I couldn't roll it up. But after figuring out what he said in this video that I'm going to play for you, and we're going to break it down, we're going to react to this video. I could tell you that he didn't have to roll it up where he was at. He could have left it unrolled like a motherfucker, right? Look, respects to King Neeko and his decision, because ultimately as a man in prison, you make your own decisions where you want to go, what you're going to do. Did he lay it down? Well, to the criminal element and to the people out there that are active gang members, yes, he made the ultimate, I guess, disrespect to the street code of laying it down in prison. But some people just want to go home. Nowadays, them old ways of thinking are to the past. People ain't trying to stay up in prison no more. People are not trying to make sacrifices like they once did. And I understand it. But I also understand when you're dedicated and part of a cause and part of the game, then you have to play the game all the way to the end. Now, I could say that with a heavy heart. The heart is heavy because I didn't make the cut, right? I myself did go to a 50-50 yard, and I did stay there after once being to that yard and getting off. Now, let me explain to you the situation of getting off. What happens? What does it mean for those of you that don't know? If you're part of a prison organization, group, or gang, okay, and you got to understand, once you join that, once you are a part of that, then you have to make certain sacrifices. It's called the struggle, okay? And there's going to be situations that you get put in where you're going to find out what type of man you are. Are you willing to go all out for the people that are in defense of you? Or are you willing to fold up shop at any little fucking thing that happens and shut it down? Now, you can make a gang of excuses and say, oh, man, you know, I thought it was this and I thought it was that. But by the time you are on a fucking GP, general population, level 4 or level 3 prison yard, or even level 2, doesn't matter. Any prison, all prison is prison, right? And there's gangsters everywhere you go on every side. When you get there and something happens and you have to raise your hand and it's your time to shine, it's your time to put up or shut up, and you decide you're going to shut up, well, people are going to be feeling some type of way about you. Now, you got to understand the reason why it's such a bad thing to lay it down or to roll it up or to not activate when you're supposed to be activated, right? Is because these are the same group, the same people that you have dedicated yourself to, saying, hey, you know what? I got your back, homie, in defense of us on this yard. If we get into it with anyone else and if it goes down, I'm willing to participate. I'm willing to defend the household. I'm willing to get off where I'm at, right? Now, I understand that. And there's been plenty of situations where even myself were put in those situations that to defend the household, and you have to do what you have to do. But when it starts getting grimy and politics come into play, and when people start getting removed or whacked over frivolous activities, things that don't even involve you, it makes you kind of wonder and think, like, hey, this was just my homeboy. We were just busting the spread with him. We were on the yard working out, doing our thing. And now, because someone came in that doesn't like him and they dirty politicked on him, now we got to get off on him. Now, it's not like that all the time. Sometimes an old case will surface, man, where this dude has bad charges or something's going on and you got to fucking go. You got to go. I get it. That's prison. In that lifestyle, you only want to be around people who you can trust and people you know who have your back. Now, what happens is when these people have your back, you're supposed to have theirs. So if something goes down and you're needed, then you're needed, homie. And no matter what, no matter if it means more time, no matter if it means going to the hole or the shoe or whatever it is, you cannot reap the benefits and the rewards of being part of that group if you're not ready and willing to do what you have to do for that group. I understand and I understood all that. I used to preach the gospel to everyone. Now, I'm not here to say gang banging is cool or any of that because I know it's not. And that's official, like a referee's whistle. But one thing gang banging is real and it happens. And if you dedicate yourself to being a part of that group and you enjoy all the festivities and you enjoy all the good that it brings to you and the protection it brings to you, then when it comes your time, you have to give back to the cause. A lot of people don't want to give back to the cause, right? Now, in King Neeko's defense, this man never was out, from what I've seen, pushing a hard line. He was never out claiming that he was from a certain area and a gang and a group and they were more superior than others and pushing that line. Now, I have seen videos that have surfaced where people stood on 50-50 yards or people rolled it up or people went on the other side, and he was a harsh critique of that. Everyone is until they're faced with that situation. Tyson said everyone's hard till they get punched in the mouth, right? So do I despise this man because of his situation? I'm the last person to ever judge someone on anything because I've been to yards where they were no good and I've gotten off, and I've also been to yards that were no good and I stood. Okay. So just a little background. When I fell off, when I was no longer in participation, they sent me to Jamestown. Now, a lot of people get Jamestown confused, thinking it's all fire camps. I don't know how it is now, but back in them days, they had a yard. I think it was called Tuolumne, was a level 3 yard, a 50-50 yard, meaning it was non-active for the Norteños. The first time I was sent there, I was an active Norteño. I got off in R&R because I knew I had a curfew and I couldn't stay there longer than 72 hours. And I didn't intend to stay there longer than 72 hours because I was gangbanging. And that was what I was supposed to do. And I did that. Didn't make me tough, didn't make me cool. When the homeboys asked me when I went back to the oil in the back and they said, hey, what happened? I said, hey, I'm an active Norteño. They brought me this yard's all bad. And it was all bad because those that were in charge said it was all bad. It wasn't like there was cucarachas crawling around on the ground and there was monsters coming out of the fucking buildings. It was because it was deemed no good for whatever reason. And I had no say-so to call it anything other than what it was, a bad yard. And so I got my good ass off that badass yard. Now, the next time around, things happened in the meantime, in between time in Susanville with me. So when I was presented with going to Jamestown again, I stood. How does it go down? The Norteños that were there, the non-active Norteños that were still functioning like they were Norteños, pulled up on me and they asked me, hey, are you active? Are you going to stay? They already knew. They had a free pass at that time. Anyone that knows they had a free pass to get off on you if you said you were active and you, hey, get down, get off where you're mad at. They wouldn't even get a write-up. You'd get removed, sent to the hole, and they'd stomp your ass out. That's just the way it was going down. That's how that shit message was getting facilitated. Trip out on this. If you said no, if you try to play the role, nah, I'm not active, homie, I'm going to stay. They SB'd you. That means they shadowed you, right, for 72 hours to make sure that you didn't get no weaponry, to make sure that you weren't just playing the role and getting off and getting a target, right? If you stood past 72 hours, guess what? They left you alone and it was all good because they knew as a Norteño and knowing the procedures, you were not able to go back. Now, no matter what, it was too late. If you stood 73 hours, you better have the fucking greatest excuse in the world. Because as soon as you went to the back, you got off in 74, 75 hours. Hey, what happened to the curfew? Why didn't you get off in this amount of time? Oh, bro, they wouldn't let me out. They held me up in the fucking office or whatever. No excuses. You're getting removed. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. It's crazy what a couple hours can do to you and change your life. Now, King Neeko he's getting talked about a lot right now because he went to a bad yard. So I kind of want to react to it because he put it out there. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't hide it. He stood 10 toes down on his decision. He's given his decision. So let's see why King Neeko stood where he stood. Remember, I put a video out defending him. I didn't think he stood on the yard, but he did. Let's find out why.
Bro, let me tell you about my last 2 years, basically, bro. I was at MCJ, Supermax, Wasco State Prison, Jamestown Prison, and at Oak Glen Fire Camp, G. So let me break it down to you. First, I want to...
But before he breaks it down, I'm going to break it down. You can see the process there. He went to the county jail. He was active. It's not active, right? People get it mixed up. Let me explain to you some game right here. Let me give you some knowledge you can't get in college. There's a difference between being active and being in good standings. An active gang member is out there participating in some very rough activities. Okay, these dudes, I'm active. You're not active, bro. If you're not out there actively fucking doing shit, you're in good standings, meaning you haven't been washed up yet. You haven't been deemed. You haven't put yourself in a position to be all bad. It doesn't mean you're active. There's two different mentalities there, active and in good standings. But anyways, he was in good standings. He went from there to Wasco, which is a reception, from Wasco to Jamestown, like I said, and then from there to a fire camp. Let's see how he ended up there and why.
MCJ, bro, it was crazy, bro. Rats got bigger than the last time I was in there, bro. They're like this big. You don't even fit on the camera, bro. That shit's mangy, bro. Like, I was like, bro, what is that, bro? That's like a little dinosaur or something, bro. Like, that ain't right, bro. Roaches too, bro, like this. Running around, just stop and look at you. Like, you got some food for me? I'm like,
I know those roaches. They'll hit you up too. They'll be like, hey, are you active or what? You're like, nah, I'm in good standings.
crack, smash, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you're my friend, bro. Get out of here. Flush that dude down the toilet, bro. Anyways, after MCJ, I went to Supermax, you know, Wayside 700 floor for like 4, 5, 6 months, something like that. Then went to 500 floor, got a cool little job for like another couple months, and then boom, they sent me out to Wasco State Penitentiary.
So I could appreciate and respect that Neeko is being very transparent. He's letting you know his journey, how it went. And this is exactly how it goes, man. You go from county to county. And remember, he's from the LA area, right? So they go to Wayside, they go to LA County Jail, they go to certain places, and it's dangerous. Everywhere is dangerous, right? And I heard LA is probably one of the most dangerous county jails you can go to. So he definitely wasn't no punk sliding through these places, man. You have to have heart. You have to be about it. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what happened.
Got my that's reception. So I was right there, bro. And then I met with my counselor. He sent me up to Jamestown. After Jamestown, they sent me to Oak Glen Fire Camp. So let me tell you about.
So let me explain to you right off the top. So if that man went to Jamestown, right? At that point, he had already locked, he not locked it up, but he had already tapped out. Jamestown is considered no good. Okay. Jamestown is a 50-50 yard right off the top. It might even be an SY yard now. I don't know. Right. But he decided to, the moment he was sent to Jamestown, he got there. If he didn't immediately get off and go to the oil in Jamestown, then he had already decided prior to getting, he had already decided in Wasco, man, hey, I'm not going to function. I'm not going to participate in GP activities. I'm just going to go wherever they send me and do my time. That's a fact, man, because there's no active yards in Jamestown.
Prison is right now too, in jail, bro. When I got to jail, you know, I heard about it, but until I was there, the homies was telling me like, hey, my boy, what's up, my nigga? Like, look, check this out, bro. You know, it's 50-50 yards now, right? I was like, break it down to me, player. He's like, so basically it's snitches there and stuff like that, bro. Like people with crazy charges, bro, and charges, Spencer. Charges in there's 50% of them and there's 50% of GP, which is like us, regular people, you know, regular paperwork.
And I'll explain this to you. Just because you don't hang around, there are individuals on 50-50 yards that are skeptical. Dudes that not necessarily are chomos or weirdos like that, but dudes that are in the hat or dudes that have been removed because they might have said too much or whatever, right? That whole 50-50 shit is bullshit. That was a title that was created by the convicts, not by the administration, right? The administration never called it a 50-50 yard. Convicts did. People that were locked up. That was just an excuse, man. Hey, if you program in the California Department of Corrections on a yard with a person that has bad charges or a person that is in not in good standings or anything like that, you might as well be part of that 50-50. That's just the facts. You are never going to be good to go back to the GP, to the main line, to a higher level prison. They're going to ask you what prison you paroled from, and you're like, hey, we're 50-50, but we were still good over there. They're going to be like, nah, you ain't good over there with them type of people over there. It's just how it is. You know, people can sit here and tell you whatever they want, but the truth is, you're not going to a 50-50 yard and still good. You're considered trash or no good by the gangs. That's just the facts.
And I was like, all right, so what? You stay away from them? Nah, as soon as you get there, you get off on them. You know, take off on somebody, then they send you to a good yard.
Exactly what he's saying. You get to them yards, and like he said, there's 50-50. What he said was there was 50-50, which is, he said there's guys that are bad charges and all bad, and then there's us, there's good. Well, there is no us or good, right? Because at that point, they're telling you have to get off because those guys that claim us and good are not no good. You know, they might think in their mind they are, just like I thought in my mind I was still good in the hood. But no matter what, by my group, I was considered no good. And I didn't fucking have weird charges or none of that. But I fell off somewhere along the way in Susanville, right? I participated in Red on Red. I just wasn't in good standings anymore. I was deemed by my people. I didn't tell on people or testify or debrief or none of that shit. I just fucked up by putting hands on my people. And it was big old fucking, big old situation there. And I should have, I guess, fought for my right to go back to GP, but I did not. And so that's where I'm at. But with Neeko, these guys giving him the rundown. He should have got off, right? If you want to be a gang member. Doesn't mean it makes you the coolest guy, but that's what they're telling him.
Where it's just 100% GPs. I was like, I bet, say less. So when I get up to reception, the counselor topped it up with me. He's like, hey, so you going to Jamestown? I was like, but that's a bad yard, bro. You know what I'm saying? Can I go somewhere else? He's like, nah, you.
First of all, Neeko. I don't know who laced Neeko up or educated him. Man, I got nothing but respect for him. But palabra, bro, you don't ask. The counselor's a cop. Period. The counselor is a cop. Here's two things you never do. You never identify what faction you're from, what your status is, or anything like that. You don't tell them nothing. They're gonna ask you, hey, what group do you run with? I don't run with no group. I'm just me. Wherever they put you, you got to do what you got to do. That's the hardship of prison. You need to understand that. Another thing, right? And I'm not sitting here speaking on behalf of GP and all that. It is what it is. I'm just telling you this is how I was laced, how I was educated. Another thing is you don't fraternize with the canine. You don't tell the cop, hey, don't send me to Jamestown. That's a bad yard. Bad to who? That means you're an active gang member. You're participating in that. If he says, hey, you're going to Jamestown, run that. Let's go. And then you already know what you got to do when you get there. So I don't know who educated Neeko, but he wasn't properly educated.
You can't, bro. You going to Jamestown, bro. You know, I was like, dang, bro. Well, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to take off then. And he was like, well.
Hold up. Neeks to sneaks, right? Bro, you don't tell the cop you're going to take off. Now you pose a potential flight risk. You pose a potential, when I say flight risk, not to leave, right? To take flight. You're jeopardizing the safety and security of the institution. You're dry snitching on yourself. You're telling them, hey, I'm going to fight if I get there. You don't give the cops a heads up till they're fed up. Now that's hard. You just do what you do. Fucking Neeko, man. His mind was already made up. Like, man, I ain't trying to get in no trouble. And I get it, man. I ain't hating on him, but fuck.
You know what, bro? If you take off, then your 50% gonna stay at 50. I said, nah, but I need that 33%. I heard you get 33% now if you go to like a 2 or 1 yard. And he was like, nah, once you get off of one of those 50-50 yards, you're no longer eligible for the 33. So I said, all right, really, case was closed because I got to get home. You know, I know how to separate my.
That author said, case closed. I need my 33. And it should have been his 33. To the homies in the hood, Neeko gives a fuck. He needs his year. He ain't no good. But he said, fuck that. I don't care, bro. I'm staying. There are people that make those decisions. They're like, nah, nope. I ain't doing 1 day over my 2 months, period.
Myself from people that I don't want to deal with. So I was like, bro, I'm getting home, bro. I don't care what nobody think, you feel me? But he elaborated a little bit on it to make it better. He was like, look, let me just tell you like this. There's no people with crazy charges like that. There might be some SNY people that, you know, rolled it up and now they're on that yard, and or maybe some snitches, but there's not people with those charges that you just look at them and you just want to break their face type charges, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh.
So look, there's no justifying it, man. I could sit here and tell you too, man, I was on a 50-50 yard, that there's no one with bad cases, but there really is, man. There are dudes that are on there. They got that soft shoe chrono, right? They might not put it out there. You definitely don't run in them circles, man, but you could kind of tell. So that counselor was steering him the wrong way and trying to make him make a decision. Yes, ultimately it's to better his life and to get home to his children. Now, this man is a single father, has full custody of his children. So I get it. I get where Neeko's mentality was to try to get home. But, you know, that counselor was feeding him bullshit and he was fucking eating it. That's a fact, man.
All right, bet. That feels a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? But in the event that I go get off on somebody, do my thing, you know what I'm saying? Hit them with the kung fu, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Kung fu.
How much time is the difference?
Kung fu.
Like, well, you know what I'm saying? You probably could lose anywhere from 6 months to like a year of time. I was like, okay, so if I stay right there, when should I get out? He said, you know, probably like around October, September 2025. If you don't stay there, you'll probably get out like October, September, August of 2026. I said,
so a year, man. So this Valta made a decision. He's like, I got to go home. So, and I understand. Now, one thing about Neeko is he was never deep in the game like that, man. He wasn't hardcore like that in the Vadu, man. There's a lot of people that are going in on him for staying on that yard, but everyone, like I said, has a different story, man. He wasn't in the mix like that. He wasn't properly educated, you could tell. So to him, it's just like, hey, if I can get out sooner, I'm getting out sooner, man. He didn't feel loyalty to anyone. just how it is. Some people feel that way, man.
All right, say less, bro. So
say less,
bro. I look at my dogs like, huh? Nah, I'm telling bro that I'm not about to get off. I'm not, bro. I told him, I'm not, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is my boys. I don't want them down. They probably want me to go with them. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, bro, I went, bro. Hit Jamestown. Dudes was just like, what's up, bro? Like, you gonna stay or you gonna leave, bro? Or you gonna get off, bro? I was like, bro, I'm gonna get my 33%. I'm gonna stay for sure. They was like, all right, nice to meet you, bro. I'm so-and-so. I was like, hey, bro, look, I ain't gonna shake your hand, player. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't know what you're here for, bro. You know what I'm saying? They said that.
It's not like that. It's not like that. So when he got hit up, this is the truth. Like, respects to Neeko. When they got at him, they're going to get at him because they're making sure their safety's secure. Like, hey, bro, are you going to stay or are you going to go? Like, they don't ask you that. They say, hey, what's up? Are you with us or what? Yeah, I'm good, bro. And then they're going to watch you. That all that, if he refused to shake their hands, they automatically would take that as he's still active or he's feeling some type of way and they'd have got off. Look, don't get it twisted. Just because it's the other side of the yard, the other side, man, motherfuckers still socking your mouth, you know? I'm going to say this, man. My respects to King Neeko. He's getting a lot of hatred for staying there. I understand his reasonings, but, you know, at the same time, I don't think everyone should be going in on him because of a decision he made. How does it affect you? Really, man? Oh, man, he ain't a real one. So what? What is your definition of a real one? Someone that goes and sacrifices and stays forever locked up and doesn't take care of their kids? That's not what I believe in is a real one. A real one is someone that understands their situation, does whatever they have to do, and then moves on with their life and takes care of their family. So that way the food stamps don't have to. I'm just saying.
There's dudes that, you know, their crimes ain't that bad, but still, you know, once you show me your paperwork and stuff like that, G, then maybe we could become friends and stuff, G. Until then, G, like, I'd pass a handshake type thing, you know what I'm saying? So, it was like ups and downs, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of different than regular prison, you know what I'm saying? Because there was like way more situations going on because there's just no structure, you know what I'm saying?
He's true about that. On the other side, it's more dangerous and there's a lot more drama going on because when there is no structure, there's no politics. People could do whatever they want to do. Then that's why you have these dropout prison gangs that spring up. They start extorting people and pushing. Just a lot of different chaos and a lot of different shit goes on. But remember, every decision you make in life has a cause and an effect. And so, yeah, you might see it as different now, but hey, you made the decision to stay and it was worth it. So anyways, I'm going to end right there, man. We don't need to hear the whole excuse of why Neeko stood and he got out. He decided to stay. That's it. And all the people that saying, oh, he bitched up or he PC'd up or he did all that. He didn't request to the cops to help him. He didn't lock it up and roll it up and fake a heart attack. That man went to a bad yard and he stood there. The same yard that Crip Mac was on, the same yard that Tory Lanez was on, the same yard that Cain Velasquez is on. He went to these yards and he said, you know what? I'm trying to go home to my kids. And now everyone thinks he's a piece of shit for it. I don't. I forever fucking respect them. I understand that people are, well, of course you do, Guns. You're all bad. Doesn't matter if I was all good, man. That's just my mentality. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people, man. Hey, King Neeko's home now. He's taking care of his family. He does need to be very careful moving around on the streets, doing his performances and all that, because there are people that are not educated enough to understand. And to be truthfully honest with you, no matter how you cut it, slice it, and dice it, he's considered all bad now. And that's just the way it is, man. And that's just a fact.